Hello, and welcome to Take 2. This one has been a complete and utter disaster so far. It's Warp 9 wrap-up for the week of 2/21. First time we had to wait for Tristan to stop yawning. Then I forgot that there was some stuff that came in, so we had to start over. And then I just couldn't find the right button to press to transition into a live feed. Yeah, and then someone called. I mean, I'm surprised I'm not going to burst into flames any second now, so. But what else is new? For those of you who've been here before, you know, this is the most unprofessional show on YouTube. We're just not very good at this.
Nope.
But we're getting better. So anyway, Warp 9 wrap-up. If you haven't joined us before, we record this at Warp 9 Comics from Clawson, Michigan. We just talk about stuff that we like, stuff that came into the store this week, stuff that we think is cool, that we think that you might think is cool, you know. One thing we don't do here is we don't just sit there and just rag on every little comic and talk shit because, you know what, any comic is better than what we could do. So, kudos to you, I say from my Porg mug. That was the first thing I should talk about this week. So I got myself a Porg mug. Look at that. It's like life-size, too. Look at that face. So I like to think I went where Chewie couldn't, which was mounting and stuffing the thing and then making a mug out of it and drinking the blood of mine enemies.
Anemones?
Mine enemies. Jesus,
you said my anemones.
That's not what I said.
That's totally what you.
That's not what I said. I'm gonna watch it back later. There's no way that's what I said.
It's
the blood of my amenities. The blood of my amenities. So anyway, yeah, wasn't a ton of stuff collectible this week, but we did get some really cool stuff, especially one really cool thing. But we're gonna show you that in a minute. And then we'll move on to some cool comic stuff this week, and then we will wrap it up, because that's what we do here. We do the Warp 9 wrap-up. You see how I brought that all around? God damn, I'm good. Book me for your next party. Anyway, first thing we got this week. Star Trek Eaglemoss ships. Now, these come from Eaglemoss. They mainly operate out of the UK. They do some cool stuff, especially like little model kits. Unfortunately, they used to be about $20 about 3 years ago, and now they've kind of gone up to almost $23. Yeah, $22.95. They do a nice job. Our only complaint is like a lot of times when they show up damaged, which has happened a lot. But I have a friend of mine, actually Eric from the Extra Secret Podcast, I do the podcast with. He collects a few of these. He loves them. They're really cool. They come with little stands and everything. They do a really nice job as far as like detail goes. So for $23, you could definitely do way worse if you're a Star Trek fan. And you know, for that one woman on the internet who gave us a 3-star review on Yelp because our name was Warp 9 and we weren't filled with nothing but Star Trek merchandise, suck it. Merchandise. How you like us now? It was like 2 years ago. No, it totally happened. Yeah, it was totally a thing. Dude, you're gonna call?
Why? Is it the same person?
Yeah, give me the phone.
No.
Just hang up on him.
No. Stop.
So anyway.
Man, Chrysler.
Hit it again. Yeah.
It's still not working.
Because you're just hitting the one button. Anyway, so they're running about $23. They come from the UK. They're little model ships. They're super awesome. But like I was saying before, Yelp, we got a 3-star review because we were called Warp 9. We didn't have nothing but Star Trek merchandise. But it was like, well, we inherited the name, for one, when Trey bought the store. And two, unfortunately, Star Trek merchandise just doesn't really sell that much anymore. As much as we like it, we were stocking it for quite a while, and nobody cared. So we got to do like any business, and we got to kind of shift focus. So but we do get these, and they are fun, and for $23, man, you can definitely knock it out of the park. So.
I feel like that's like being upset because JCPenney is called JCPenney but doesn't sell pennies.
Right. Well, I mean, you can get pennies there, I guess, if you buy stuff and the change works out all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought the same thing too.
You can get Star Trek stuff here.
Yeah, it's like going to Starbucks and expecting them to sell you, you know, I don't know, like things from Battlestar Galactica instead of coffee.
Or real coffee.
Right. Last week we talked about how we had gotten a couple of Marvel Legends, like new vehicle things in, but we sold out of them really quick. Well, guess what? We got restocked. They just announced a Toy Fair. They're going to do a Wolverine in this line. This stuff's been really popular so far, especially with the Ghost Rider that she just cut in front of. That was fun.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to show off the boxes. It's my job.
That's the Black Widow. Black Widow's super dope. We sold out of it really fast because the way the case breakdown works is there's usually 2 Ghost Riders and then 1 Black Widow per case. So we had gotten restocked. The Ghost Rider's been really popular because it's the first time they've done a Ghost Rider book or bike in a long, long time. Ghost Rider book just burst into flames. So really cool stuff. Both figures are really good as well. They're well done. So yeah, if you're looking for new vehicle stuff, they do set you back right around $45 plus tax. But you know, they're actually really worth it, to be honest with you. A lot of times I'm not a big fan of like the vehicle stuff because it's usually really expensive. But these are really fun. And like I said, if you check out the Toy Fair news from last week, they just announced they're going to do a Wolverine as well. It's Wolverine on a bike. And the Wolverine figure that comes with that is really nice. Like, really nice. So I was super stoked about that. So hopefully they do more of these. You know, I hope they don't overdo it, though, to where all we see is just nothing but vehicles and they raise the price to $60. Looking at you, Hasbro. You've done it before. Please don't do that again. But for $45, man, you definitely they display really well too. Yeah. They stand up on their own.
I really like the Black Widow bike, but I will have to say I think the Ghost Rider bike is my favorite out of the two.
Oh, dude, it's dope.
Mostly because it looks more like a Harley, and Harley or die.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, she's a super spy from
hers looks
from
like
Russia.
A Yamaha.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's used to speed more than, you know, she's got to be sleek and like move through traffic and stuff. You can't get away real fast when you got a Harley that everybody can hear.
You can.
Not whenever you can hear it. They're like, oh, he's right over there. Listen, see? He's right over there.
Harley or die. I grew up on the back of a Harley.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's different. Man, you grew up in the back of a Harley.
I did.
No, you did not.
I did.
Nobody grows up in the back of a motorcycle. It's Michigan. Michigan.
So?
Not riding the bike.
In the words
12 months out of the
Elsa
year.
from Frozen, the cold never bothered me anyway. I'm freezing right now,
you can
by
be
the way.
You can be Ruby or you can be Elsa. You cannot be both.
I'm Ruby.
Okay then. No more of the Elsa quotes. Thank you very much. Only one of us can be Elsa.
It's not you.
Let it go, Tristan. Let it go. Walked right into that one.
I gotta give you that.
Slam the door shut.
I teed it up and everything for you.
I'm on my A game today. So anyway, we once again are going to have a Marvel gallery because, you know us. We even granted them our Statue of the Year thing because our awards mean absolutely nothing. But we do it anyway during our year-end extravaganza. So we got the Spiderman Homecoming one. Very, very cool for $45. I mean, it's a little bit more simplistic. It's the obvious, the suit from the movie. And he's just kind of on a wall, but they did a really nice job for it. Especially being PVC and only $45. I mean, why not? They announced a bunch more of these at Toy Fair as well, man. There's going to be a lot of cool ones coming. X-23 is the one that we're most excited for. Yeah, it doesn't really come like a diorama thing. She's just standing there, but just the idea of having a collectible of X-23 in the Wolverine suit makes us very happy here.
It makes me so happy.
Yeah, I just can't wait until they start doing Honey Badger merchandise. And she better come with Jonathan the Wolverine. That's all I got to say, man. I just saw a variant that's going to be for, I think, the next issue of All New Wolverine, and it's like a Deadpool variant where Honey Badger is dressed up like Deadpool, and she's trying to hold back Jonathan the Wolverine from getting at somebody. It's great.
I want to see that so bad.
Yeah, I just saw it on Twitter today. It's pretty good stuff. So, yep, $45 for the Marvel Gallery stuff. We've talked about them extensively. We enjoy them. We will be getting more of them. Last but not least, this just showed up yesterday, and it's kind of a big deal. I don't know if you knew this, but it's a big deal. We get Hot Toys here, and this Hot Toy is the hotness. It is the Arkham Knight / Red Hood. Spoiler alert for a game that came out 3 years ago or whatever.
Seriously.
It's $245, but the reason is because the eyes light up, and also this thing comes with a ton of stuff. I was not joking when I said the Red Hood. It comes with a different entire outfit. You can take plates off of him here and there and turn the blue to the red, so that way he becomes Red Hood.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so like they did a statue years ago, DC directed, to where you could do the same exact thing, and they didn't tell anybody when they solicited it because they didn't want to spoil the game, so it was a big deal. And we sold those statues really fast because people were like, wait, you can change it? I'm like, yeah, it was a great idea. They took the same exact idea and did it. So technically, for $245, you were actually getting 2 Hot Toys for the price of 1. True, you can't, set them up next to each other. But, I mean, Hot Toys are fun to pose and do all sorts of cool stuff with to begin with. When you can completely change the figure all the way around, I mean, it's awesome. It's an inventive thing that they did. I definitely applaud them because they could have gone the dick route and been like, we're going to come out with the Arkham Knight, and then 2 months later, we're going to do the Red Hood, and you got to pay for both of them. You know what I mean? That would have sucked, because typically like $220 a piece, pretty close to. You're looking at $400. Instead, they're like, well, we'll just design it so you can change everything out with magnets, and then change the head around, and then you get the same toy, but it's only going to cost you an extra $25. So, bravo, Sideshow. We still enjoy you very much, and your markups have gotten better, so thank you for that. Because when we first got these, oh boy, we were getting murdered. So yeah, and they come with batteries. They come with the little watch batteries and make his eyes light up and stuff. I mean, it's a great piece, man. And I'm surprised we still have it, because I didn't think it was gonna last very long. Yeah, hell, Tristan might end up stealing them. What do I know?
It's so pretty.
Yeah, it's really nice. I've actually been debating it myself. I'm like, well, we paid X amount of money for this, so if it doesn't sell, can Dan scrape together enough money to pay for this thing?
I know Tristan can't.
It's pretty sweet, man, and I think it would make an excellent addition to anybody's Batman collection for sure.
So cool.
Yeah, it's one of the nicer ones they've done. But we'll see. The weekend is coming, and we'll see if it survives. So. On to comics news. We will kick it off with one of my favorite books that unfortunately has been announced that it has gotten the axe, and that's the Super Sons. Yeah, it's a sad day, especially because this issue is actually really
so
good, man. I mean, the art is absolutely stunning, and it sees the return of Talia al Ghul. And anybody who knows anything about Super Sons, you got Damian, you've got Jonathan Kent. And Damian and his mom have a strained relationship, to say the least.
Yes.
She's tried to kill him on multiple occasions.
So many times.
She grew him in a little bottle. She was like, I'm not messing up my figure. Like, you just take the thing and put it in this tube, and I'll be around when he wakes up. That's exactly how that happened.
She treats him not like a son, but as a actual weapon. She's like, you're a weapon. Well, that's all you're worth.
Keeps reminding him of that, too. But also, you're the grandson of the demon, and da-da-da-da-da, and all this other stuff.
That makes you important, but you're just a weapon. Yeah. Just remember that. You're not important.
I'm not going to lie. I love the Al Ghul family.
I love it.
I'm just going to say that. So, you read this.
I did read this. This is Parent Trap Part 1, which I thought that was funny because Parent Trap was one of my favorite movies when I was little.
Yeah, this is not about body switching at all. This is more about, like, her trapping Damian.
Parent Trap isn't about body switching.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of Freaky Friday. My bad. My bad, Disney people. My bad, Disney people. I confuse all your Disney movies.
Parent Trap is with the two twins and
the twins with
the divorced parents.
It's such a weird premise, that movie, man. Plus, they had Lindsay Lohan playing twins back when she still was famous.
And then there's the earlier one.
Oh yeah.
Because Lindsay Lohan was the remake.
Yep, with Jamie Lee Curtis, right?
Yes.
Or was that Freaky Friday again? That was Freaky Friday again. Damn, I suck.
Who?
I don't care.
I can't remember.
I don't care.
Well.
This is not a Disney show. Well, sort of, I guess.
Back to Super Sons.
Yeah.
This issue starts off with the idea that, Damian and John go to the same school.
Yeah.
Normal school.
Yeah, Batman thought it would be in Damian's best interest to go to school with a friend and also go to basically like
normal,
more public school
people.
Than like Gotham Academy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've read Gotham Academy, that's got its own problems. Also a great book. Should be made into a show. I don't know what you're doing, DC, but
seriously,
it would be a home run.
I did hear that. A little off topic, but I did hear that Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is getting a show.
Yes, that is 100%
DC,
happening.
Step up your game. You need shows as well.
It's an animated show, though.
I don't care.
I know. I'm glad it's not a live action show because it just doesn't. In my opinion, that show does not work as live action. It works very well as an animated show, and I applaud Marvel for doing it.
9-year-old girl.
I'm telling you right now, everyone thought there was too much superhero stuff now. Now that Disney has decided they wanted their own streaming service, you thought you were going to see a lot of stuff before. They're greenlighting everything now because they need content for their streaming service, and they need more and more content. It's going to be crazy.
It's probably, I'm going to get sick of it after a while.
I was telling somebody,
I'm excited right now.
We were talking about it on Wednesday. A few people came to the store. I was like, it's an arms race right now. It really is for content.
Yeah.
Netflix is giving everybody money, being like, make content, make content, make content. Because if it becomes a hit, they make more money. If it doesn't become a hit, well, whatever. They have content for later,
Mm-hmm.
So works out. Anyway, back to comics.
Back to comics. Wow, we're getting really off track all the time. With this issue, I thought it was a really cool kind of premise, what they're doing with bringing back the lovely mother of Damian Wayne, who, by the way, I kind of love.
If you read Silencer that we talked about a couple of weeks ago,
we did not talk about Silencer.
We did talk about Silencer. It was a number 1.
We did not do the show that week. I guarantee it.
Oh, really?
Yep, we didn't do the show. We didn't do the show that week.
Oh, yeah. Okay, anyway, we didn't talk about Silencer. It's part of the new, the new wave of DC heroes, whatever they're doing. Some of the stuff's not great, but Silencer was really good, and it talks about what Talia's kind of been up to.
Yes.
And apparently there's like a civil war inside of the League of Assassins right now, and Talia's trying to hold her own, so she's been trying to like call in favors from people who either she used to work with or people she considers friends and even her son. So that's kind of what she's doing here, and they do mention Silencer in the book, so it's cool if you read both of those books. You're going to be like, oh hey, cool, I read that, you know.
Like, whoa, crossover.
And then if you didn't read that and you like Super Sons, well, it's your chance to come in and get Silencer #1. We still have some. That's how you sell stuff.
Yes, we do have some.
Yeah, we got a bunch.
I was like, wait, how many do we have? We have some. I know we do. I promise we do.
So, get the props.
Yes.
Oops. Peter Tomasi did the story and words. Isn't that like the same thing, guys? Carlo Barbary did the pencils. Art Thibert did the inks. And Gabe Eltab was the colorist. Rob Lay was the letterer. So yeah, it's very much Talia trying to enlist Damien for help. And Damien, you know, begrudgingly decides to help her. And of course, Jonathan's going to go along for the ride. So it'll be interesting to see, because Jonathan never really knew that Damien was from the League of Assassins.
He's definitely
and didn't know
learning.
That he killed people.
He's definitely learning some new things about his
He even tells him, like, you know, oh, I just thought you were occasionally mean to people.
I loved that.
It's like,
I just thought you were occasionally mean.
He's like, no, I used to murder people, but that's fun.
He's like, but it was okay because they were killers too, so...
So I know we talk about Batman every single time, and the funny thing is for one, it's a great book, but this time it's not even for me about the story. It was more Michael Yannon is the Batman artist right now, and they're doing a Poison Ivy storyline, right? And first off, look at this cover. I mean, that's ridiculous, dude. You know, someone should call a cop because he murdered this cover. So the only thing I really want to talk about with this is that it's always great to see Poison Ivy storylines, you know, and especially like right in the middle of Batman and Catwoman doing the whole marriage thing, you know, they're kind of trying to stretch that out a little bit. So I'm going along and I'm reading this, and it's a really cool storyline, and then I go and I turn the page and I'm like, holy crap. I mean, how good is that, man? Like, that was just like unbelievably good page of comics. And the great thing is they didn't muddy it up with anything else in there. They were just like, boom, splash page, face, traditional splash page, up close, just boom. I mean, it was just holy gorgeous crap. So I'm really excited about him being on this book, man, because it's really, really good, and it's great to see. You know, Ivy has essentially infected a lot of people, but Batman sees it coming and is able to give himself an antidote beforehand. So it's really cool to kind of see that. So now it's the Bat and the Cat basically against the world. So a really fun one. It's a good starting point for anybody who's looking to jump on Batman. We always have the trade paperbacks if you want to go backwards too. Everyone Loves Ivy. That's the name of the storyline. Part 1. Tom King, Michael Yannon did the art and cover. June Chung did the colors. Clayton Cowles did the letters. And yeah, you should pick it up. If anything, just see Michael Yannon just absolutely destroy that book. Holy crap!
It's beautiful.
Good? So good. So we saw the start of a new 6-issue miniseries called The Brave and the Bold. It's kind of cool to see them bring back some of the old titles like Brave and the Bold. This one specifically is about Batman and Wonder Woman as they get enlisted by a god that Wonder Woman, I guess, knows personally, which is really weird.
Just hanging out with gods, you know.
Who also offers to, you know, get in on a 3-way with her and Steve Trevor, which was really awkward. Trevor's like, "Nah, dude, we cool. Like, nah, it's all good, brother. You can teleport on out of here, weirdo." So if you're a fan of like more high fantasy stuff like magic and things, but also a twist of having Batman and Wonder Woman kind of enlisted into this, you're going to enjoy this book. It's a gorgeous book, and it being a miniseries, you know, we just kind of had the same stuff with Batman and Wonder Woman if you read the Batman book, but this is kind of a little bit more, like I said, on the fantasy side, and I really enjoyed it. For one, it's a gorgeous book, and for two, it's kind of cool just to see these little team-up books that are existing outside of everything else, and just doing a little...
That's a little creepy.
Yeah, he's pointing right at you.
a little creepy.
Yeah, so it's mixing a couple of different elements. We'll have to see where it goes. First issue was great, and it seemed like people were pretty excited for it, so we'll have to see. It's chapter 1 of the Summonings. It's Liam Sharp was the writer and the artist, so we got Liam Sharp doing double duty. Romulo Fajardo Jr. did the colors, and ALW's Troy Patiri did the letters. So, like I said, man, if you're into a little bit more traditional, like, fantasy fare, you're really gonna dig it. But it's some great stuff, and I didn't realize he was doing...
The artwork is really cool on it.
I didn't realize Liam Sharp was doing double duty, so good for you, man.
Good job.
Get both those paychecks.
Double thumbs up.
So for Marvel, I got to show off a variant cover, mainly because we ran out of the other ones, but it's also gorgeous. Doctor Strange Damnation #1. This picks up immediately after what's been going on in the regular Doctor Strange book. He has been repowered. Loki kind of brought back magic, and he's a little bit overpowered right now. So he decides to do or undo what happened in Secret Empire, and people forget that in Secret Empire... evil Captain America destroyed Las Vegas. So Las Vegas got completely wiped out. Doctor Strange has decided he's going to resurrect Las Vegas and go from there. The problem is, though, is like we've learned in other Doctor Strange books, is that magic comes with a price. And he resurrects his entire city, including all the souls, all the buildings, everything. But smack dab in the middle of it is this big towering casino that looks like it might have come out of hell. And sure enough, it's Mephisto running a casino, which he's not enjoying. But Mephisto is now like, hey, man, you brought me here, so I'm staking my claim, so we're going to do this. Really fun book. Really cool so far, for sure. And obviously, the Virgin variants they're doing with the Young Guns from Marvel are also great. That one's done by Javier Garron. Super good. But we sold out of Damnation. We couldn't get any more, so... Good stuff so far. We're going to have to pop it open, unfortunately, to give the props.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a fun little mini-series. It's great to see Doctor Strange getting a little more love again. I know with him not really having a movie coming up and stuff, sometimes they let those guys go by the wayside. But the book has been absolutely great. Nick Spencer and Donny Cates were kind of teaming up on this thing. Rod Rice is the artist. The letterer VC's Travis Lanham. Sorry, my bad. And the cover was by Rod Rice. So, great stuff. There's tons of variant covers of this thing. I'm not going to list them all. But really cool stuff. It's going to be a quick little mini-series, and we're going to kind of see where it goes from there. But so far, so good. Like I said, sold out. It's got to go back on the wall, so you might as well just set it there.
Oh, I was like, why are you giving it to me?
Well, hey, don't include me on this. I've clocked out. Leave me alone. Get off my lawn. Infinity Countdown Prime. So yes, even though we had Marvel's promise of about 6 months ago that they weren't going to do any more gigantic storylines, here we go. But we all saw it coming, right? I mean, come on.
When does Marvel keep its promises?
Well, I mean, for one, they had changes at the top, and then, with the EIC, and then they have a movie coming up that's Infinity War. They're going to do something. That's just good marketing. I'm sorry.
And the giant gauntlets aren't something?
Well, that's what I mean. They got to do it all. It's all going to happen.
It's all got to happen.
The first Infinity book we saw was the Adam Warlock book, which was kind of introducing Adam Warlock back into the regular continuity. So, typically, I know everyone's kind of burnt out on Marvel big event books because Secret Wars, Secret Empire were just not fun for a lot of people. Civil War 2 was just not great. I will say this is the first one in a long time that I actually really liked. Like, the scope of it feels like a big deal. Random heroes throughout the Marvel Universe have gotten Infinity Stones, and the other ones are trying to hunt each other down. So it's very much going to be who can get them all first. And obviously, in the background of something this big, you always have Thanos lurking because, no one touches the Infinity Stones but Thanos. He's all about them. So there's a really great scene in that, which is Captain Marvel, and she has a certain stone. And the cool thing is a certain stone that she has is also being found by other versions of Captain Marvel throughout the multiverse. So there's a great little picture, which you're looking at right now, that Mike Diodato did, where it's each Captain Marvel in across like a 2-page splash, and they each
really
have
cool.
found the stone because that stone, affects that certain way. It's really, really cool, and it's got nice introductions of what each stone does and things like that. But the pencil's done by Mike Diodato, and he's just absolutely destroyed this book. It's so good. It's just really, really good. So we'll have to see. I mean, this was just kind of like the beginning. So I'm hoping the level, stays where it is, because you fooled me before, Marvel. So if you're looking for something just to jump back into comics, this would be a great way just to jump back in if you've been away from comics a while. If you kind of given up on Marvel because of all the events, well, I get it, but honestly, this one's actually really good, and I think it's going to lead to some great stuff. Jerry Duggan was the writer, and man, that guy's been killing it lately. You got a mouse in your shirt or something? What was that?
No, I sneezed.
Mike Diodato, which we just talked about, was the artist. Frank Martin is the color artist. VC's Corey Pettit is the letterer. So yeah, we will probably be talking about this some more as it goes on, but I really hope that the quality stays, because so far so good, man. I really liked it a lot, and from what I understand, they just announced they want to relaunch again. Marvel does, which I guess is what everybody's really angry about. But they do this every 2 years, so
yeah.
What are you gonna do? I mean, they always do it. It's nothing new.
Well, it's like at first it was like,
and everybody gets upset all over again. Like, oh my God, why are they like? Dude, they do it every year.
I think it's funny that they were like, oh, we're not gonna relaunch. We're gonna do Legacy. And everybody was mad about that, and now they're like, we're gonna relaunch, and you're just like,
I will say
pick what you're gonna do.
Well, that's the thing. That and you hit the nail right in the head. Is
yeah.
That going from, we're gonna go back to legacy numbering, which I said from day one was a horrible idea.
Yeah.
People just don't like. Don't get me wrong. The purists are like, oh, they love seeing book 700, whatever. But I'm sorry, it doesn't sell for new readers. It really doesn't. And it's no offense to the guys out there who've been reading comics forever, but eventually you get older and you stop coming into the store. We need the next generation.
Well, it's like I had a woman come in who wanted to pick up Hulk, the She-Hulk Hulk that was just called Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, okay, and I was trying to like explain to her, and I was like, and then once you get to like a certain issue, it jumps to She-Hulk number, I can't remember. And she's like, but why does it do that? I'm like, because they're going back to legacy numbering, which is, and I had to explain that to her, and she goes, that just doesn't make sense. And
it's
then
funny
I think
that
it drove her out the door.
We have to explain this.
Yeah.
We have to explain what Marvel's doing when we're just trying to sell the books. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like we're just trying to sell somebody a comic, and we're having to play cleanup for a horrible marketing idea.
Yeah, I haven't seen her since she didn't buy a book that day, and I feel like it drove her away solely because she just didn't know what the heck was going on.
Yeah, no matter how much we can explain it, people still just are. It's like that doesn't sound like something I want to be involved in, and then boom, you never see him again.
It's too confusing.
Yeah, and it just sucks. So. But we'll see. Maybe this will be the one that finally... Maybe that'll be it. They finally just shutter the doors after this. They're like, well, this relaunch failed. Everybody's fired. Comics can just go away. Dan will be out on the street begging for change again. Jeez. Will YouTube for food. So this was the final issue of Defenders. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because I, for one, really enjoyed the issue. It kind of ties everything together. They've come together to defeat Diamondback. And the Hood decides that he is going to be the new Kingpin. He goes to Wilson Fisk, who is the mayor of New York City, if you've been reading the Daredevil book. And he has decided to tell Wilson Fisk that he's the new Kingpin, and this is how it's going to go. And it's a really cool ending. I really love it. And I just want to say kudos to you, Brian Bendis. Looking forward to your Superman run. But I really enjoyed the Defenders book. Really enjoyed everything he did at Marvel. I don't think this is his final Marvel book to be published. I could be wrong on that. But I wish him nothing but the best, and I'm glad he's healthy and happy, and he seems like his creative juices are flowing again. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Brian Bendis for a great little book. Yeah, Kate's here. there's a scene in the end. Don't show him.
I was about to say, like, the last page is beautiful, and then I saw her, and I want to cry now.
Yeah, it's a really cool ending to the series. I'm kind of sad to see it go, because I really enjoyed this book quite a bit. And, unfortunately, that's the end. So, writer was Brian Michael Bendis, artist is David Marquez, color artist Justin Ponzer, and VC's Corey Pettit did the letters. So, check it out if you're just looking to see how they wrap it up, or, we might even have some of the back issues here, or, they'll be doing a trade paperback soon. You can check it out that way. But I'd definitely say check out the Defenders. It was fun, man.
We have quite a few back issues. We might be able to make a set or two.
Most likely. Want to hit that guy?
Okie dokie. So I'm a video game nerd. I haven't played this game in forever, so it was a little jarring to pick up the book and start reading it. Bloodborne. If you've played the Bloodborne game,
I have not.
You haven't?
Nope.
It's a fun game. I enjoy it. I haven't played it in a while.
Does the comic stay true?
Actually, yes. This is done by Titan Comics. It definitely is just a storybook kind of telling of the game. At least that's what it seems like from the first issue.
Okay.
He's looking for Pale Bloods, which in this world there's this healing church that people go to where there are people and they can heal all of your...
Much like those guys on the TV.
Infections.
Right? Where you go to their big $1 million churches and they're like, you got it, you got a demon in you. And then I walk up with my cane and then all of a sudden I can do like a dance down the aisle afterwards.
They actually heal like sicknesses and stuff.
You're saying these guys don't? Then why have I been donating money to these places? I wonder why I'm still sick.
The game is very much so an almost zombie monster game.
Okay.
It plays in really weird. You kind of have to.
We're not a video game show.
Trying to explain it is a little bit difficult. I would suggest just pick it up and read it, even if you haven't played the game. It explains it pretty well, in a way of draws you in for more.
Okay. So if you pick up this book, it would really kind of draw you in to try to play the game and vice versa. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're a fan of the game, definitely check out the book because it's more of the same.
It kind of makes me want to go play Bloodborne again.
Okay, there you go.
To be honest.
Then it's doing its job for them. Do you think it's going to flesh out more of like the Bloodborne universe and maybe do a little more side stuff, or is it just mainly a marketing tool?
There is some more that I think they're going to expand upon, but I don't think it's going to be a whole lot more.
Okay.
But I could be wrong.
They could be kicking the door open to do other stuff.
Yeah, this seems to be just kind of a rehash of the idea of what the game is.
Sure. Yeah, Titan Comics mainly deals in licensed products. Is what they do for Doctor Who and stuff. And a lot of times they'll just start off doing like one to see if there's a market there, and if they want to do more, and then they'll start doing like miniseries to like lead into other games and things. But it's kind of their wheelhouse to do licensed stuff, which isn't bad.
They do really good on the Penny Dreadful book.
Yeah, Penny Dreadful was really popular for us, and then obviously, like I said, the Doctor Who stuff.
That's
and,
pretty.
They do a few
that.
other things. So
yeah, they do a couple things that are very good. So I think
give it props.
Yeah, I feel like if
Alyssa Cott was the writer on it. Peter Kowalski did the artwork. Colors by Brad Simpson. Lettering by Aditya Bidikar. Yeah, I nailed
the
that.
art in it is really cool, and the coloring is really cool.
Yeah, they always seem to have good people working over at Titan.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like the top tier talent, but it's always solid. Always very, very solid.
Yeah.
So, one thing, just real quick, is Matt Hawkins started this whole universe called Postal, where it's about a guy with Asperger's who lives at a town that his mom runs, and they're a town of like criminals hiding out from the FBI and stuff. And so it's just all these scumbags living together, but the only rule is that you have to kind of live like regular society. And there's no murdering, no dealing drugs, none of that stuff, and they all stay off the FBI's radar. It's been going on for quite a while. I think there's like 6 volumes total. They've now kind of taken a break from the regular series and are doing little one-offs. And the first one is for Mark, who is the son with Asperger's. So it's written in his perspective. And it goes from there, and it's very much a conversation he has with his crazy father, because now Mark is kind of in charge of the town. So it's not exactly the book you would jump on to try to be like, okay, it makes sense of everything else. But if you were looking for something new because you don't want to go all the way back on Postal because you're not sure if you're going to like it, I would suggest reading this, because you can read it and be like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but you can understand why it's such a cool book, and then go back and read the volume. So they're going to do multiple one-shots. The first one is for Mark. I think the next one is for his mother, I believe. and it talks a little bit about their past and things, and it's really interesting. And I've been loving this book since day one, and it sells pretty well for us in trade paperback. It's by Top Cow, and who's the subsidiary of Image Comics, so it's definitely it's by Matt Hawkins. Hawkins has like his whole other like little universe in Top Cow now. Raphael Ienco was the artist, and Troy Pateri was the letterer. Really great stuff. Like I said, these one-shots are really cool, especially, like I said, you don't have to know every single thing to understand that it's such a cool book. And the next one in March will be Laura, who's Mark's mother. So, great stuff from Top Cow. Last but not least, they finally came out with a first collection of Invincible Iron Man for the Iron Heart. I don't know why it took so long for them to collect this stuff, but it seemed like it took forever. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just because the other stuff, but literally this book is supposed to be from like 2016. So like, why did it take so long to collect this? You know, not everything needs a hardcover Marvel, you know?
Yeah.
Because we've had a lot of people coming in asking about this stuff, and we haven't had anything, you know, because we don't stock hardcovers here because they're incredibly expensive to go down that road. This collects issues 1 through 5 of the Invincible Iron Man. It was when they switched to Iron Heart, which is Riri Williams. It's absolutely great stuff. Really, really great stuff. She has all sorts of just unbelievable adventures. She comes from a little bit of a tragic backstory, but doesn't let that stop her. And she's like one in like the top 10 of like geniuses in Marvel. And the great thing is that she built her Iron Man armor suit inside of her garage. So great new hero. I'm really happy to see this collection here. It'll set you back $20, unfortunately, because it is a Marvel trade. They can't do anything for less than $20, I guess. Little disgruntled with you when it comes to that stuff. But other than that,
I love Riri so much.
She's great.
She's a fantastic character, and if you haven't read anything with her in it, shame on you, because she's amazing.
I'm worried about the character. Just because with Benda's gone, he was the one kind of championing. He was the one who was writing Riri and Miles and Luke Cage and all sorts of stuff. And I'm kind of worried with him gone. They might not fight for these characters as hard, but we'll see. You know, prove me wrong, Marvel. I would love to see these characters continue.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see. I know Miles they still have plans for, but I have no idea what's going to go on with Riri and stuff. Because it seems like they just want to hit the reset button and put everything back to the way it was.
Which is disappointing, because I know for a fact that characters like Riri and Miles and Amadeus Cho and like Miss Marvel, all of them bring in new readers. Like, these are the books that I suggest to new younger readers because they can relate to the characters more.
But I get, you know, if the bottom line is that if they're not selling,
I know
they're not selling, you know. So I kind of get both sides of the argument, but you know, it doesn't need a complete and utter rehash overhaul, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So yeah, check it out. It's the first volume. Collects 1 through 5. Set you back about $20. So
I love her. She's so great.
It's great stuff. So that is your Warp 9 wrap up for Wednesday, 2/21. If you are in the Michigan area, keep in mind starting tomorrow from I think like 5 until 8 or something like that. Is the Great Lakes Comic Con over at Macomb Community College's South Campus. It's a cheap little con to get in. It'll go on all day Saturday as well. We will be set up there. Trey will be there holding it down. And check out all the other local dealers. It's one of our more favorite kind of cons. It's small. It's cheaper to get in.
It's a big little con.
Yeah. So I'll probably be there tomorrow night for like an hour, depending on how business is here. So yeah, check that out for sure. Otherwise, go download the new episode of the Extra Secret Podcast. If you got something to say to us, you can send us an email at extrasecretgaming@gmail.com. Otherwise, follow the podcast at Extra Secret Cast on Twitter. And then follow the store, Warp 9 Comics, on either Facebook or Instagram. And it's just at Warp 9 Comics. So, got anything else to say?
Not really. I'm kind of tired. Yeah, I had to deal with annoying children today. It was great.
Comes with the territory, unfortunately.
Most kids aren't bad. Just these ones were a problem.
Yeah, I know who they are. We know who you are. So anyway, that is your Warp 9 wrap up. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll be back next week. Bye-bye.